But for many Americans, no matter how high the market goes, the life on Main Street tells very different stories. The daily struggles never stops. The owner tells me a bottle of the shampoo is around $15 before tariffs, but now it's cost around $30. Just $2.90 for a ride with $1 billion views. That's how social media describe Roosevelt Island tramway, which is behind me. The tram can take residents directly across the East River to 60th Street, 2nd Avenue in Manhattan in just 10 minutes. Immigration courthouse in New York City, where everyday people have to face high-stake decisions that could determine their future in the U.S. Looks like these guys aren't the only ones losing their shirt this Halloween. Are you ready for your trick-or-treat? In downtown Manhattan, Jinger Zhang, New York City News Service. Joyce Short, the president of the Roosevelt Landing Association, says it is not opposed to sub-metering. The association says the installation needs to be improved. Yes, Bethany, as you can see, it's brick outside. The Roosevelt Island residents say because of low energy efficiency problems, they're getting overcharged. The utilities and rent are growing, but the living conditions are just getting worse. CPC is a social service nonprofit that claims to serve immigrants and low-income communities, but it's also one of New York's Medicaid-funded home care agencies. The home care workers say CPC took their wages and used them to build a 30-story luxury tower. Spooky season is here, and you might notice the price of costumes and Halloween holiday merchandise is up.
I might just dress myself, in like all black and something like that, so I can avoid stores.
Americans are expected to spend big as we get ready to trick or treat. The National Retail Federation projecting consumer spending to reach a new high.
Total Halloween spending is anticipated to reach a record $13.1 billion this year, $1.5 billion more than last year, and exceeding 2023's record of $12.2 billion.
One factor to consider when looking at higher price tags. The price of costumes and Halloween merchandise is impacted by tariffs.
79% of Halloween shoppers anticipate prices will be higher this year, specifically because of tariffs.
I think they are more expensive, yeah. They're like $50 now. Before they were I think way more affordable.
Many customers telling me they're working around rising prices and thinking of new shopping strategies.
I'm planning on going to the thrift store if I need the accessories instead of buying them here.
Experts are tracking the new shopping trends.
I think a lot of people this year at the store I work at bought earlier than I would have expected.
Discount stores are even more popular among Halloween shoppers than last year. 42% plan to pick up items for their celebrations at discount retailers, up from 37% last year.
Beyond customers, some store managers and owners are feeling the price increase too when it comes to Halloween costumes and merchandise.
We just go through every company we can and, check every magazine. And if we find a new place, we check it out and just see if they have good prices and stuff.
Looks like these guys aren't the only ones losing their shirt this Halloween. Are you ready for your trick-or-treat? In downtown Manhattan, Jinger Zhang, New York City News Service.
Feels like the quality of life in the building has gone down and down and down as the rent prices go up.
Residents on Roosevelt Island are saying the utilities and rent are growing, but the living conditions are getting worse. They say there's a low energy efficiency problems that need to be addressed. Residents are fighting against the landlord sub-metering because they say they are getting overcharged. Karina Kell has lived on Roosevelt Island for 34 years.
Very, very expensive. It's almost too expensive for many people. We had to pay $1,000 per month recently, last year.
Joyce Short, the president of the Roosevelt Landing Association, says it is not opposed to sub-metering. The association says the installation needs to be improved. It also says baseboards need to be upgraded after nearly 24 reports of fires last year.
This building has a D rating by New York City in energy efficiency. We get a 15 or a 16 out of 100.
Landlords are adding 3.5 inches of additional insulation, but critics say there are still other issues.
They didn't consider the fact that insulation affects the air conditioners in the air conditioning sleeves that are through the wall.
The biggest concern residents have is that they're paying for energy they're not actually using.
The heat doesn't reach the apartments very well in the wintertime, and you need supplemental heat, but that'll only raise the rate that you have to pay quite higher.
It's pretty frustrating because there's a lot of issues with the building's heat, ventilation, the air that are not working properly, and our prices are not going to be reflective of actually the energy we're using.
Some elected officials are supporting the fight against submetering.
I think there should be other things that are tackled before submetering is implemented, just to be fair to the residents.
Hundreds of residents signed a petition to take the fight to court. A temporary restraining order was issued against the landlords to keep from submetering. The bottom line, according to Roosevelt Island residents, the low energy efficiency problem needs to be addressed before shifting costs to the tenants. Live in Times Square, Jinger Zhang, back to you, Jonathan. A group of home care workers is protesting outside the Chinese-American Planning Council, demanding an end to the 24-hour workday and calling on organizations to pay back their stolen wages.
真的是摧毁我们的一生。现在我们做了10多年，但是说不出的痛苦。
CPC is a social service nonprofit that claims to serve immigrants and low-income communities, but it's also one of New York's Medicaid-funded home care agencies. The home care workers say CPC took their wages and used them to build a 30-story luxury tower.
是我们的血汗钱来的。
CPC announced a statement in June 2024 saying they're in full support of home care workers, but the 24-hour shifts are mandated by state law and determined by the insurance company. They don't have power to split 24-hour shifts on their own. They have been advocating for state to reform for years. But for workers, there's no choice. Losing the jobs would cut off the income they rely on.
不能不做啊！不做你等一下。
And it's not just Chinese workers. Many immigrant communities across New York City are suffering under 24-hour shifts.
It's not just a Chinese issue, a white issue, a black issue, a brown issue. It's really affecting all workers, but specifically women of color.
In other news, you may have noticed that New Yorkers' outdoor dining shades have disappeared recently. New York City school students are saying goodbye to a beloved school lunch. Chicken nuggets may no longer be on the menu next year after an update to the city's food standards. Reporter Aaron Marr is live in Midtown with stories. Aaron.